In this lesson, we are going to see about India's population and its position across the globe and various population statistics. The Indian subcontinent, located in the South Asia north of equator, has the second largest arable land. India occupies 7th largest land area of 3.28 million square kilometer, 2.4% of world, and houses nearly a fifth of the world's population. India has more than 50% of its population below the age of 25 and more than 65% below the age of 35. It is expected that in 2020, the average age of an Indian will be 29 years compared to 37 for China and 48 for Japan. And by 2030, India's dependency ratio should be just over 0.4. India has more than 2,000 ethnic groups and every major religion in the world is represented here. Here are some facts related to India's population. Even the United States of America ranks third in the list of most populated countries of the world, right behind India, its population is just 1/4 of India's population. Not forgetting the fact that USA is 3 times larger than India in size. The gap of population between the two is a staggering 746 million. Uttar Pradesh alone has population of 166 million, which is more than the Russian Federation of 146.9 million. Similarly, Orissa has more humans than Canada and Chhattisgarh than Australia. Even though only 16% of India's population has access to internet, this is 10 times the total population of Australia. Now we are going to look at factors for population distribution in India. Physical factors such as climate, terrain, and availability of water. North Indian plains, deltas, and coastal plains have climate suitable for agriculture, and fertile plains hence have higher proportion of population. Mountainous and forested regions of southern and central Indian states, Himalayan states, and some of the northeastern states are less populated. Development of irrigation, availability of mineral and energy resources, and development of transport network have resulted in moderate to high proportion of population. The socio-economic and historical factors. Traditional settled agriculture and early human settlement has resulted in large population in river plains and coastal areas of India. Development of transport and better agricultural development has resulted in large population in northern plains. Industrialization and urbanization. Metro cities of India have a high concentration of population due to industrial development and urbanization. A large numbers of rural urban migrants come to these towns. Now we are going to look at the phases of growth of Indian population from 19th century. First one is 1901 to 1921. It is referred as period of stationary phase of growth in India's population. Between 1911 and 1921, recorded a negative growth rate. This is mainly because of both the birth rate and death rate were high. The major causes are poor health and medical services, illiteracy of people at large, and inefficient distribution system of food. Between 1921 and 1951, the period is referred as the period of steady population growth. An overall improvement in health and sanitation throughout the country has happened. Better transport and communication systems improved the distribution system. The crude birth rate remained high in this period, leading to higher growth rate than the previous phase. 1951 to 1981. It is referred as the period of population explosion in India, caused by a rapid fall in the death rate but a high birth rate. The average annual growth rate of population was as high as 2.2%. High birth rate was due to better living conditions, scientific developments. Due to increased international immigration from Tibet, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan, India's growth rate is exploded. After 1981 to present, the growth rate has started slowing down gradually due to decline in crude birth rate, due to an increase in the mean age at marriage, improvement in female literacy and empowerment, better scientific developments and access to common man. And we're going to look upon the overpopulation issue in India. The overpopulation refers to an undesirable condition where human population exceeds the available natural resources to feed and sustain it. Rapid population growth is the bane of the economy of underdeveloped, poor, and developing countries in the world. What are the causes of overpopulation? The two main common causes leading to overpopulation in India are the birth rate is still higher than the death rate. We have been successful in declining the death rates, but the same cannot be said for birth rates. The fertility rate due to the population policies and other measures has been falling, but even then it is much higher compared to other countries. The above causes are interrelated to the various social issues in our country which are leading to overpopulation. Early marriage and universal marriage system. Even though legally the marriageable age of a girl is 18 years, the concept of early marriage is still prevailing, and getting married at a young age prolongs the childbearing age. Poverty and illiteracy. Another factor for the rapid growth of population is poverty. Impoverished families have this notion that more the number of members in the family, more will be the numbers to earn income. Illiteracy is thus another cause of overpopulation. The age-old cultural norm. Sons are the thought puts considerable pressure on the parents to produce children till a male child is born. They think more the better. Illegal migration. Last but not the least, we cannot ignore the fact that illegal migration is continuously taking place from Bangladesh, Nepal, leading to increased population density in India. The problems due to overpopulation in India are unemployment. Generating employment for a huge population in a country like India is very difficult. The number of illiterate persons increases every year. Unemployment rate is thus showing an increasing trend. Poverty. Rapid growth of population accounts for low standard of living in India. Even the bare necessities of life are not available adequately. Rising population increases poverty in India. People have to spend a large portion of their resources for bringing up their children. It results into less savings and low rate of capital formation. Hence, improvement in production technique becomes impossible. It means low productivity of labor. Uneven migration. Population explosion gives rise to a number of social problems. It leads to migration of people from rural areas to urban areas, causing the growth of slum areas. People live in most unhygienic and insanitary conditions. Overcrowding, traffic congestions, frequent accidents, and pollution in big cities are the direct result of overpopulation. Urbanization. Problems development of infrastructural facilities is unfortunately not keeping the pace with the growth of population. The result is lack of transportation, communication, housing, education, healthcare, and all main required functionalities for human beings. There has been an increase in the number of slums, overcrowded houses, traffic congestion, etc. in Indian urban cities. Increase in crime rate. Unemployment and poverty lead to frustration and anger among the educated youth. This leads to robbery, beggary, prostitution, and murder, etc. The terrorist activities that we find today in various parts of the country are the reflection of frustration among educated and unemployment youth. Environmental degradation. Rising rate of population growth exerts pressure on land. On the one hand, per capita availability of land goes on diminishing, and on the other hand, the problem of subdivision and fragmentation of holdings goes on increasing. It adversely affects the economic development of the country. Population explosion leads to environmental degradation. Higher birth rate brings more pollution, more toxic waste, and damage to biosphere. Briefly speaking, population explosion hinders the economic development. It should be controlled effectively. Impact on the Indian economy. Adverse effects on savings, unproductive investment, slow growth of per capita income, underutilization of labor, growing pressure on land, adverse effect on quality of population, adverse social impact. So what are the steps to control population in India? The Government of India politicians, policymakers should initiate a bold population policy so that the economic growth of the country can keep pace with the demands of the growing population. Major steps which have been already implemented but still need to be emphasized more to control population. Increasing the welfare and status of the women and girls, increasing awareness for the use of contraceptives and family planning methods, encouraging male sterilization and spacing births. free distribution of contraceptives, and encouraging female empowerment, more healthcare centers for the poor, to name a few, can play a major role in controlling population. Experts are hopeful that by increasing public awareness and enlisting strict population control norms by the government will definitely lead the way for the country's economic prosperity and control of population. Friends, with this we have come to the end of this session. We'll be seeing in the next session and an informative video. Please subscribe to ExamBin channel.
Transport, communication and trade are together included in tertiary economic activity. They are also the chief means of exchange and interaction between different sectors or regions of an economy. Trade arises on account of specialization and regional economic differences. For trade to take place, transport and communication are necessary. In this chapter, we will study the following concepts: transport, communication. Lifelines of national economy. Transport, communication and trade are together included in tertiary economic activities. They are also the chief means of exchange and interaction between different sectors or regions of an economy. Trade arises on account of specialization and regional economic differences. For trade to take place, transport and communication are necessary. Means of transportation. It can be divided into three modes: land, water, and air. The land transport is further divided into three types: roadways, railways, and pipelines. Water transport is also of two types: inland and overseas. Air transport is also of two types: domestic and international, and it is further divided into private and public undertaking. Land transport. Roadways. Today, India has more than 33 lakh kilometers of road networks, 2007, one of the world's longest. Road is a major medium of land transport. It is the cheapest and the quickest means of transport for short distances. Roads can be constructed in rough and undulating terrain, unlike railways. The use of surface roads by automobiles has increased the importance of roads. Land transport. Surfaced and unsurfaced roads. Surfaced and unsurfaced roads can be divided into two types: metalled and unmetalled roads. Land transport. Importance of road. Land transport. Classification of roads. Land transport. Superhighways. The government has opened road building to the private sector as well as to the joint collaborations with foreign countries. Its policy is to build, operate, and transfer, abbreviated as BOT. Private sectors will bear the cost of construction, operate roads, and collect road taxes. The use of surface roads by automobiles has increased the importance of roads. The roads under this scheme are: Golden Quadrilateral. It connects the four metropolitan cities of Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata, and having a length of 5,846 kilometers. North-South-West Corridor. It connects Srinagar to Kanyakumari and Silchar to Saurashtra. The length is more than 7,300 kilometers. Link Road. It will link 10 major ports: Jawaharlal Nehru Port, Kandla, Marmagao, Tuticorin, Chennai, Ennore, Vishakhapatnam, Pradip, Kochi, and Haldia ports. Proposed length is 380 kilometers. Land transport. International highways. The international highways are the roads linking India with neighboring countries. The Delhi-Lahore bus service, Kolkata-Dhaka are some examples. Land transport. National highways. India has 70,548 kilometers of national highways 2008 and 1,28,000 kilometers of state highways at the end of 2006. These account for 2% of the total road network but carry 40% of the total road traffic. While the central government maintains the national highways, the state governments are responsible for state highways. National highways join one state capital with another. They are maintained by the Central Public Works Department, CPWD. A number of major national highways run in north-south and east-west direction. Land transport. State highways. The state highways join state capitals with district headquarters. In addition, there are village roads which connect villages with neighboring towns. The Border Roads Organization constructs and maintains the border. Land transport. District roads. These roads link the villages and blocks in the district with the state highways. They are maintained by the Zilla Parishads. Land transport. Other roads. There are also rural roads which link the villages with towns. Some of these roads are unmetalled. Highways. The state governments are responsible for the state highways. National highways join one state capital with another. They are maintained by the Central Public Works Department, CPWD. A number of major national highways run in northwest and east-west, south and east-west direction. Land transport. Border roads. The Border Road Development Board was established in 1960. It has constructed about 27,925 km-long metalled roads in border areas. It has constructed the world's highest road from Manali, Himachal Pradesh to Leh, Jammu and Kashmir. The average height of this road is 4,270 meters.
Road density. The density of roads is the length of road per 100 square kilometer of area. Distribution of road is not uniform in the country. Density of all roads varies from only 12.14 km in Jammu and Kashmir to 517.77 km in Kerala as on 31st March 2011, with the national average of 142.68 km as on 31st March 2011. Road transportation in India faces many problems. The road network is inadequate, keeping in view the volume of traffic and passengers. About half of the roads are unmetalled, and this bounds their usage during the rainy season. The national highways are also inadequate. Besides, the roadways are highly congested in cities, and most of the bridges and cesspools are old and narrow. Though in recent years, fast development of road network has taken place in different parts of the country.
Land transport. Railways. The first railway line was constructed between Mumbai and Thane in the year 1853. It was only 34 kilometers long. Railways continue to be the main means of long-distance transport in India. Land transport. Indian Railways have a total route length of 63,332 kilometers. There are about 7,133 stations spread across the length and breadth of the country. The railways have a fleet of 8,330 locomotives, 47,375 passenger service vehicles, 6,180 other coach vehicles, and 204,034 wagons as on 31st March 2008. It is the largest railway system in Asia and the fourth largest in the world. About 18 lakh workers are engaged in Indian Railways. These railways carried about 65,240 lakh passengers and 7,939 lakh tons freight in the year 2007-2008. Superfast trains, fast goods trains and container services have been introduced. Metro railways have been started in Kolkata and Delhi. About 80% of freight traffic and 70% of passenger traffic is carried by railways. Most of the railways are found in the level Gangetic Plain. About 50% of the total length of railways in India is found in northern India. The Northern Railways is the longest railway with a length of 10,977 kilometers. Many physical and economic factors are responsible for it. 1. Northern Plain is a level plain with low altitude. It is best suited for the construction of railways. 2. Due to dense population, big towns have developed which have led to high density of railways. 3. The intensive development of agriculture and industries have promoted the construction of railway lines. 4. It is essential to connect Mumbai and Kolkata with the hinterlands of northern plains. Railways have not been extensively developed in Jammu and Kashmir. Railways now link southern, western and eastern parts with Srinagar of Kashmir province. Jammu Kashmir railway link is under construction. In southern India, construction of railways is retarded due to hilly areas and rivers. Railways. The Indian Railways are the largest public sector undertaking in the country. The railways have been an integrating force for more than 150 years. The railways at present run multi-gauge operations extending over 63,332 km route. The gauge-wise route and track length of the system as on 31st March 2008 are given above. Route is the length of the passage. Track is the pair of parallel lines of rails on which the railway train runs. It is always more than the route. A place where rail routes cross or diverge is known as the junction. See Indian Railway map. These different gauges create many hindrances. Therefore, efforts are being made to convert all these to broad gauge track. The uni-gauge system will ensure uniformity, higher speed, reduction in transshipment and cheaper transportation. Railway zones. Indian Railways have been grouped into 17 different zones as shown in the box on the map of Indian Railways. Railways. The problems faced by Indian Railways are transshipment from one gauge to other delays the trains, poor facilities and overcrowding at railway stations, bad habits of people like throwing all kinds of waste in railway compartments and at railway stations, ticketless travelling and unnecessary chain pulling resulting in loss and delay, thefts and damage to railway property. Pipeline transport. Pipeline is an important means of transporting petroleum and natural gas. In some countries, pipelines are used for transporting milk. Coal is also transported through pipelines by converting coal into slurry. It is a cheap means of transportation in inaccessible areas, dense forests, deserts, high mountains, and even underwater. The pipelines which have been constructed in India are given below. A pipeline connects Assam oil fields with Guwahati and Baruni and on to Haldia. It has branches, one running to Allahabad and the other via Raiband to Murigram and Guwahati to Siliguri. A pipeline connects Haldia oil refinery with Barauni. Barauni has been connected by a pipeline with Kanpur, Mathura and Jalandhar. Mumbai High is connected with Trombay oil refinery by a submarine pipeline 207 km long. From Salaya, Kutch to Koyali and onwards to Mathura via Viramgam in Gujarat. Its branches extend to Chaksu and other places. HVJ, formerly HBJ pipeline, 1730 km long, carries natural gas and connects Hazira in Gujarat via Vijaypur in Madhya Pradesh to Jagdishpur in Uttar Pradesh. 600 km long pipeline connects Vizag to Sikandrabad. A 710 km long pipeline from Mangalore to Coimbatore has also been commissioned. Waterways inland transport. The inland navigation in India is not important as most of the rivers are not suitable for navigational purposes. Only 14,500 kilometers of inland waterways are navigable. Out of it, only 3,700 kilometers are navigable by merchandised boats. Navigation is carried on in Ganga and Brahmaputra and in the lower reaches of the Godavari and the following waterways have been declared national waterways. NW. The Ganga River, 1,620 kilometers, stretch between Allahabad and Haldia, NW number 1. The Brahmaputra River, 891 kilometers, stretch between Sadia and Dhubri, NW number 2, the West Coast Canal, 168 kilometers, stretch between Kollam and Kottayam. The two other canals in Kerala, Udyog Mandal Canal, 14 kilometers, and Champakara Canal, 22 kilometers. Other inland waterways include Godavari, Krishna, Sundarbans, Buckingham Canal, Brahmani, East-West Canal, and Damodar Valley Corporation. Waterways. Shipping. Shipping plays a crucial role in a country like India with a coastline of 7,516 kilometers. In 2008, there were 122 shipping companies. Out of these, about 40 were engaged in international trade. India's bulk of the trade is carried through coastal waterways. 90% of country's trade, averaging by volume 70% in terms of value, is transported by sea. By the end of June 2008, total operative tonnage of 282 overseas and 590 Indian vessels was 1,48,85,000 DWT. Indian shipping tonnage rose from 1,92,000 GT in 1950-51 to about 8,83,000 GT in 2008. Waterways. Sea or oceanic transport. This kind of waterway transport is mainly based on the major ports of the country, which is usually located at the coastal areas of a country like peninsular part of India. All the Indian ports open either in Bay of Bengal in the east or Arabian Sea in the west. Waterways. Ports on the western coast. Kandla. This port is located at the head of Run of Kutch. It was the first port developed soon after independence to ease pressure on Mumbai port. It is a new tidal port having natural and safe harbour which is liable to replace Karachi, Pakistan. It connects vast and rich hinterlands of northwestern India as well as falls on the Suez Canal route. It handles imports and exports of agricultured products of industries in northern and western industrial belt. Mumbai. Mumbai is the biggest port of India and occupies the central position on the west coast of India. It stands on an island and is connected with the mainland. It is the only natural deep water harbour of India. It is connected with Europe through Suez Canal. It has a rich and productive hinterland of black cotton soil region. A hinterland is an area which serves as a port for its international trade. For example, Mumbai port is well connected with its hinterland in the states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana. Marmagao. This port lies on the west coast of Goa. It is deep natural harbour and is premier iron ore exporting port of the country. Its hinterland includes Goa, Maharashtra and Karnataka. Cochin. Cochin lies on the Malabar coast in Kerala. It is called the Queen of the Arabian Sea. It is a safe, deep and natural harbour. It is located on the route to Australia and the Far East. It has an important naval centre and a shipyard. A new naval port of Karwar is being developed on Kanara coast. New Mangalore is a major port of Karnataka. It exports iron ore from Kudremukh. Waterways. Ports on the eastern coast. Kolkata. It is an inland riverine port on the mouth of Hooghly, about 120 kilometers inland. It is affected by tidal waves of the sea and requires regular dredging of river Hooghly. It has a rich hinterland of productive agricultural Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta and Chota Nagpur region rich in minerals. It is located on the route to Japan and USA. It is a tidal port. A new port at Haldia is being developed to share the burden of Kolkata. Haldia port was developed as an ancillary and subsidiary port to relieve the growing pressure on Kolkata port. Visakhapatnam. It is a new major port on the east coast of India. It lies midway between Kolkata and Chennai. It is a well-protected natural harbour enclosed by hard rocks of Dolphin Nose. It is connected with the mining region of iron ore, coal, and manganese. Paradip. It is a new major port on
Odisha,
the coast. It is deep natural port. It is connected to the vast hinterland of
Odisha,
with minerals, forest products and agricultural resources. It exports iron ore to Japan. Chennai. It is an artificial man-made port on the east coast and one of the oldest. 2 concrete walls have been built to provide shelter to ships. Its hinterland includes Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, a rich agricultural region. It is ranked next to Mumbai in terms of freight and passenger traffic handled. Other important ports on the east coast include Ennore and Tuticorin. A natural harbour and rich hinterland have ensured flourishing trade on Tuticorin port in Tamil Nadu. Airways. Passenger use and commercial use are together called civil aviation. In 1953, Tata Airlines were nationalized and the operations of a public sector undertaking, the Indian Airlines, began. India today has 17 international ports and 116 domestic airports. The Airports Authority of India controls and manages Indian airspace extending beyond the territorial limits of the country as accepted by International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO).